Good morning. I'm on a little early. Not much, just a few minutes. Hopefully the little reminder thing will go out because I failed to make thumbnails this weekend. So sorry about that. So I figured I'd come on a few minutes early. That way the little reminder thing will shoot out. Kind of remind everybody because the thumbnail wasn't there to get reminded for. So my apologies, guys. Facebook only lets me do so much with pre-planning. And so normally I'll go through Monday. I'll make all the ones for Monday through Friday, but it doesn't let me go past Monday. It's like only a week at a time. So good morning, good morning. You guys are all here even though I didn't make the thumbnail. That's awesome. So good morning, Joe. Good morning, good morning. Again, remember, I am double streaming, so I will put the comments up so you can see both sides. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Arthur. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Papa Smurf. And Rose says, good morning to everyone on both sides. So good morning, guys. Yeah, I slacked. I was rearranging everything, so I don't know if you noticed, but I totally changed my whole background. I got rid of all of the motorcycle stuff because, none of that was up for auctions or sales or anything like that. And I wanted it to all be something that if you saw something, you could ask about it and it's all for sale. So I was super busy trying to get everything fixed in here. And so I didn't get thumbnails made. But I'll have them made later today. After I get everything done, caught up as far as like organized, I will have them made. So welcome if you're here. Good morning, good morning. I want to remind you guys, I am offering to give away the Jesus Freaks book for a poem. You have until the 22nd of this month to get your poems in. You're just going to send it to thebootedchick@gmail.com. Just remember that I will read them out loud. So if you submit it, you're basically giving me permission to do that. And it's not to judge anything. I'm not judging and picking a winner that way. I will lay them out on the floor upside down and pick that way. So it will be a random pick. And then that's how someone will be able to have the Jesus Freaks book. And I will tell you, I have received one poem so far. So I'm excited. It's a beautiful poem, by the way. But I won't say who it's from just yet. So good morning, Sally. Good morning. Good morning, Yvette. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, Route 66 is gone. I thought about keeping it there because that one's just a little too small for the space. So I may put it back up there. It goes with my theme anyway. So I may put it back up there. At the time, I was pulling everything down and getting the ones that I did want to put up there. You can't see that little photo up there. It looks very blurry. But that is a little baby up there in its original frame. That little baby is 6 months old. And I met the granddaughter of that picture. So yeah, very cool. So, but yes, Arthur, I will be putting right over here. I probably will put Route 66 back there, move that over, like over here in this area. So yes. I'm still trying to get my directions, like this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So yes. Oh, good. You guys are just saying hi to each other. Okay, so let's get started. See where we're at in here. So remember, we always skip Saturday and Sunday. So we're catching back up on Monday. So I want to make sure that I turn to the right page and I don't mess up nothing. Okay, it's still in the first chapter of Ruth. We have this is the last one, and then tomorrow we'll be reading chapter 2 of Ruth. I'll read the entire chapter to you, and then the devotions will follow through on that. So this one is March 14th, making sure the date is correct, March 14th. And today is Monday, so welcome in. This one is from Ruth chapter 1, verse 22. And it says, So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem. It says, So often when you and I backslide, the tragedy is that we take others with us. I'm going fishing, Peter said. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough to follow Jesus Christ any longer. John 21:3. What did the other disciples say? We'll go with you, they said, as they boarded the boat of backsliding together. But here is Naomi coming back, returning to the place of blessing. And look, she is bringing Ruth with her. Ruth will be so instrumental in the very genealogy of Jesus Christ. Ruth, who is herself an illustration of the body of Christ. Ruth is brought into the land of promise by a broken Naomi. When was Ruth brought into the place of blessing? It was when she was impressed with Naomi's pleasantness and perfectness. It wasn't when she was impressed with Naomi's pleasantness and perfectness. Oh gosh. It was when she saw Naomi's brokenness and bitterness. Precious people, I'm convinced that very often our friends, family, colleagues, and neighbors are not getting saved and not responding to the gospel because they look at us and see the life we are presenting to them as being totally together. And they say, God is the God of the together person, the perfect person, which is fine for you because you're together and you're perfect. But I'm not. Therefore, he could not be my God. Why is it we try so hard to present ourselves as perfect? We know we're not. Who are we kidding? We all know we have problems and weaknesses, temptations and difficulties, and yet we carefully cultivate an impeccable image to present to the world. I suggest to you that people are touched and moved not when you and I preach from the pulpit of perfection, but rather when we share from the place of brokenness and humility, not pointing to our togetherness, but to God's graciousness. Marrying into Naomi's happy Hebrew family did not convert Ruth. You see, it was not until Naomi, Miss Pleasant, became humble and confessed freely that the Lord had dealt bitterly with her, that Ruth said, Your God shall be my God, because I can relate to a God like that. That is awesome. That is awesome. That's why it's good to be transparent with your people that you're around. You know, not present yourself like you're better or, you know, you got it all together. All right, we're all screwed up. Every day, we're all screwed up. We all do it. All right, today is March 14th, and today is inspired by biology. And this one is, how do bees know if there is nectar in a flower? Many flowers provide a visible sign on their petals. Consider the small desert lupine flower. It would take a bee hundreds of visits to get enough nectar to make honey from this small flower. As the bee flies along, it notices the bright yellow spot on the desert lupine's blue petals. This bright yellow spot says, here's nectar. So the bee will stop in and get the nectar. But after it leaves, the yellow spot turns black. When another bee comes along, it sees the black spot and knows the nectar is gone. Somehow bees know to stop only at the flowers with yellow spots. This saves the bees lots of time and energy. When a bee picks up its nectar, it also pollinates the plant. If the flower has already been pollinated, there is no need for it to be pollinated again. Other flowers provide similar clues. When the nectar is gone from the flowers of the vetch, the petals show black splotches. Many flowers advertise on their petals using splotches and spots saying, here's nectar. And when there is no nectar, don't stop here. The nectar is gone. How did this come about? Both the bees and the flowers would have to cooperate to get this to happen. This is design, not random chance. So here's today's scripture. To the only wise God, our Savior, be glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and forever. Jude 1:25. That is super cool. I didn't know that they changed color. I do know on a clover. I do know something really cool on a clover. So on clovers, if you pick the flower So this is really cool. If you pick the little, kind of like, looks like a little ball flower. If you pick the flower on the ball, are individual, it's like it's got a bunch of individual little tiny flowers all on the ball, right? And if you just press down slightly on the petal that's kind of like a V, and you just press down on it, the piston pops out. And that's how the bee gets the pollen out of it. And that's how it gets pollinated. So it's really cool. If you ever pick a clover flower that it looks like a little ball kind of, and you look at it and you just push down on one of the petals, the piston will pop out. It's pretty cool. All right, let's see. Marianne says, good morning, ladies and gents. I'm late, but I'm here. Had to chase my bunny from underneath my bed. Oh, goodness, you have a bunny rabbit. I will tell you this. I had a bunny rabbit years ago. Years ago. The kids were little. And it was a white rabbit. And we had got it one year. And we had her for quite a while. Probably at least a year, I would say. She was at least a year old. And maybe 2. And we named her Hershey because we would bring her in the house. And every time she was in the house and you would sit down and have a piece of chocolate, she was like right there. Like as soon as she heard you tear the wrapper, it's like she could smell it instantly. She was right there wanting a piece of that chocolate. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I loved having that rabbit. Good morning, Love Hollis. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Booted. Would you please let Bobby know? Yes, I will. Thank you, and I'm grateful. Also appreciate it very much. Haven't seen her. Thank you. Yes, I will let her know. Definitely. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's very helpful for you. It's not a study Bible. To me, a study Bible is something that you should pick for yourself because they're all laid out so differently that you want to find one that works for you, the commentaries that work for you. So, yeah, because I've had a couple different ones and I have my favorites. So it's always good that you pick your own study Bible. Alrighty, I'm going to do a random from the Jesus Freaks, okay? Random from the Jesus Freaks. I'm just going to open the book this time. I'm not going to go through the index. Okay, this one is on page 271, and this one is called Temporary Light Affliction. And this is about John Ju Handing from mainland China during the Red Guard era of 1966 to 1969. Okay. Thank you for the heart. I appreciate you. Please don't forget to give that thumbs up. John Ju Handing, I hope I don't have to say that every time. John Ju Handing could feel the mighty power of God within him, strengthening him to endure the unbearable. They had tied his hands behind his back and then emptied a bucket of human waste on his head. They had left him like that for days, never giving him a chance to clean himself. He was given food, but with his hands tied behind his back. He had to lie on the floor and lick it up like an animal. The food had to pass through soiled lips. He still did not deny his flesh and refused to admit to crimes he had not committed. Then his torturers filled a cell with human waste and put him in it with a multitude of common criminals. Now they all waited and suffocated in it. The common criminals were told they would all be kept like this indefinitely unless they forced him to comply with the demands of the interrogators. To survive, these criminals now competed in torturing him day and night. When he came to this point in his story, John stopped. His face started to glow, and he began to sing with a beautiful voice. Here are the words of his song. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, while we do not look at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Does anybody know what chapter or book that's from? He was singing a passage from the Bible, is what he was singing. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, while we do not look at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. This is our faith, okay? For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. 2 Corinthians 4:17 and 18. The authorities eventually gave up and stopped trying to make John deny his faith. They then released him. It says, "For God has said, I will never fail you, I will never forsake you. This is why we can say with confidence, the Lord is my helper, so I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me?" Hebrews 13:5 and 6. I really like that one. Remember I told you guys the things we go through are like small compared to eternity? That is like what that's saying right there. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far exceedingly and eternal weight of glory. It's just for a moment. I love those two. And Hebrews 13:5 and 6, we don't need to fear man. What can man do to you? He can't take away your eternity. He can torment this body, this mind, these emotions, but he can't take away your eternity. It's like it can't be touched. It can't be touched. Alrighty, let me see. I'm here, Leslie says. Good morning again. I'm here listening brain fog this morning. Love Hollis. I will perfect, Leslie. Thank you. Yes, perfect. Yes. Perfect. And yes. Perfect. Yay! It's always a beautiful thing. I think that's always a beautiful thing. When you can give God's word to somebody, it's always a beautiful thing. Even more beautiful when you give them the whole thing. Right? All right. Now I'm going to read you. Aww. So I'm going to read you. I don't know if this is. I'm assuming it's a poem that she wrote. She didn't sign this one, so I'm not sure. But Pat South was who I was reading some of these poems from. And this one has a little picture of a baby. She put a graphic on this one. I think this one was really special to her because she put down, I'm assuming it's her daughter, maybe her granddaughter, the birth date and how much she weighed and how big she was. And so I'm not going to read that because that's personal information about that little person. They're not little anymore. It's 1999, but she put, God sent us a gift from above, on loan to us to fill our lives with love. We will try to teach you all the right things, first words, first steps, what joy they will bring. But we will be in a much different state when you go out on your very first date. Right now, we will pray for that dear little boy who will come along and replace your love for toys. Our time with you will go too fast. There is nothing in this life that lasts. Each moment will be treasured, you know, as God allows us to watch you grow. Now, I don't know if she wrote that one because it sounds very familiar to me. So I'm not going to say it's hers, but I'm not going to say it's not. But it is in here. And I'm assuming that was her grandbaby. Because this person being born there she'd be quite an age to have given birth to this little person. So I'm assuming it was a grandbaby. I'm going to assume it was a grandbaby. I'll have to ask her about that one. So yes, her next one that's coming up for tomorrow is very, very, how would you say? You'll find out tomorrow when I read it. I don't have the right word for it right now in my brains. My brains aren't quite there yet. So how did everybody's weekend go? How did your guys' weekends go? Did you guys have a good time? Did you guys have a rough time? Did you get a lot of stuff done? I got tons of stuff done. Not only did I rearrange, I moved a shelf to over there. So now there's an actual shelf over there. I put another shelf over here that you guys can't see. I rearranged the whole pegboard, redid the whole backdrop, rearranged the other room and all the shelves in there with all the stuff. So I had a very, very productive weekend as far as tasks go. So yeah, that was my weekend. It was very, very physically busy. And again, that's why I didn't get my thumbnails done, because I was doing a lot of the physical stuff. I didn't do the stuff here on the computer. And I didn't get to check in with many people on their lives as well, because I didn't turn them on, because if I turn them on, I can't get as much done. I love listening, but I tend to get drawn to the screen, and then I get sidetracked. It's easy for me to get sidetracked. Alrighty, so I will have all the thumbnails made for the rest of the week later today. So hopefully you guys will get your reminders. So if you're here, good morning, good morning. If you like to silent watch and you're one of our ninja watchers, good morning. And if you are one of the chore listeners, good morning while you're doing your chores. And if you missed it because you didn't get the thumbnail, I apologize. Hopefully you're able to rewatch. So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whichever might be for you. So did anybody have any questions about the poems or anything like that? Are people still thinking about what you might write down? Possibly. I did pick up a book yesterday, and it's poems, and I don't remember exactly what it all said, but it's an older book. And I did pick it up. I should go get it and maybe look through it. I don't know. Went to the grocery store, but nothing else. Had to relax because, oh yeah, girl. I should have sent you my list because I don't want to go to the grocery store. I probably haven't been to the grocery store in 2 weeks. I was privileged to meet a Chinese gentleman that had escaped persecution and imprisonment in China. Oh wow. His crime being found to secretly have a Bible. A crime due to his job in the government. Yes. That still goes on today. That's crazy. That's awesome that you got to hear his testimony. That is awesome. Marianne says, sending prayers, Yvette. Yes, because I wrote one down and I need to put it in my book while we're talking. Because I put it on a Post-it and it's going to get lost. Really quick right here. Oh, I do get to mark down on here. You remember when Leslie was asking for prayers to find her wedding ring? They found her wedding ring. Found. I forgot to write that on here. Found. So this one is for hold on a second. I had a surgery. Wait a second. Okay. I met a new person at church. She moved up here from another city, I should say. She moved up here to a town from a city. Victorville's still good size, but it's more of when you compare it to down the hill, the big cities down the hill, it's kind of like a town. Till the surgery and... Sorry, I got to write this down. I wrote it on a Post-it last night, and I can see it's already gotten moved from my desk area, so I don't want to lose it. All right, I wanted to write that down. But yes, praise report. Yes, her ring was found. Her sister Bobby had come over, and they were looking for it, and they found it. They did find it. So yes, that was awesome. Remember, I told you the Lord knew where it was, and I told her, the Lord will help you find it. It'll come about, watch. Not to worry. Because that's a scary thing. You know, that's a scary thing when you lose something, you can't find it. It makes you think that you're losing your mind sometimes, right? Leslie, are you listening, girl? I don't want to miss say where you guys found it. Yes, and we do business with them. Sad. Right? Right. Right. I agree. I know exactly what. Yeah, for just yes, girl. If you don't know about that, I'm going to tell you something about China. Good morning, Shirley. Good morning, girl. Good morning. I have a couple horse things that I can show you today if you're able to come on. I have a horse purse and a couple horse books. And I believe I have a metal horse on a wooden stand. The book, all of them are used, previously loved, except for the handbag, but the handbag doesn't have tags. So if you're interested in that, girl, come on today and I will show those things to you. Just say, hey, I'm here about the horses because I do have some things to show you. Wallet, but already lost his mind. Oh, you're funny, girl. You're funny. Okay, so I know Bobby came over to help her look. I'm trying to remember exactly where she said, because we were throwing all kinds of examples for her where it could be at. And it was, oh my gosh, where did somebody say? Somebody said they've had found their ring one time in the clothes, folded in the clothes. Leslie, are you still here, girl? Are you still here? So I'm going to tell you about China. Let's see if Leslie pops up. Everyone's asking where you found your ring. So China, do you know? Because most people don't know this, and that's why you need to look into stuff for yourself. Everything, the Bible, what's going on in the world, everything. Look into it for yourself. Find out for yourself. Don't believe what comes through that stinking box on the wall. Okay. Did you know that China over there, that they do not have free access to the internet like we do? They are very censored over there. If they find out that you're communicating about things you're not allowed to communicate about, they will arrest you. They come and arrest your family and take your family off as well. There was times during there's a lot of stuff you guys probably don't know about that went down. I saw live videos of it going down, okay? Because I wanted to know for myself, and I searched out a lot of information. And I even seen them break a person's neck because they were trying to arrest them during the whole shutdown, the whole COVID shutdown thing that they were doing, because they were arresting people on the streets. And it wasn't because they had COVID. It was because they didn't like what they were talking about. And they broke a person's neck, putting them in the police car. I watched it. It's sickening. And they are very, very oppressed people. And they do not have, like me and you have internet in our home. No. They don't have that over there. They don't have it over there. It's hit and miss whenever they can get internet service. And when they do, they're usually trying to send out messages. So please don't think that they have it in living conditions like we do. They do not. They do not. Yes, exactly. I went to China a couple years ago. They govern it. Yes. They shut it down. They don't let them have access. They have no communication with the rest of the world. Yes. If they find out that you're telling anything, I watched an interview when the toilet paper thing first hit here. Like when everybody was freaking out about the toilet paper. You remember that trash? Well, anyway, when that first went down, I watched a interview. It was a private interview, and this person was very scared, but they did the interview anyway. And it was with Joshua from Epic Times. And they were letting everybody know it's not what you think over there. It's really bad, and they're very fearful for their lives. And she already knew that she would be in danger for this interview, but she was going to do it anyway because people needed to know. And Epic Times put that interview out. Very few people saw it because Epic Times is not mainstream media. You have to search out Epic Times. Yes. Yes, exactly. And for what they let them. Mm-hmm. Yes. In China, those in authority have no respect for human life. People are exactly, exactly. Mm-hmm. They only have so many people. They have the whole um population control is a real thing there. They're not allowed to have so many children. They're only allowed to have so many children and genders. So yeah, it's stuff that you don't hear about it because they don't want you to hear about it. They don't tell you about it. You only know about it if you've met people from there, if you have been there yourself, or you happen to stumble across information that's kind of, in a sense, you have to dig for it. Mm-hmm. Yep. Underground, yes. There's instances where they go literally underground, literally with very few lights, like candlelight, to read the Bible because they track them down. Yes, yes. A lot of their population, though, is for they can put them into as soldiers. Hmm. Yes, they lifted the one kid thing in 2012. Gotcha. Yep, you have to have a permit to have a kid. Can you believe that? Like, so contrary to God's word that tells you where it comes from, right? It's contrary. God said to go and fill the earth, to go and fill the earth, to have children, to have families. That was what we were told to do, not do it, not cut it off, not pervert it, not none of that. It, it's contrary. So that tells you, where is that coming from? That's evil. That is evil. And it's happened all throughout history. It's happened. uh the first one I'm thinking of off the top of my head is, it happened when Moses was born. Moses' mother had to put him in a basket and send him down the Nile to preserve him after she kept him for so many months, because she couldn't keep him any longer, because if he cried they would hear, and they weren't allowed to have baby boys. They took all the baby boys. And the reason why is because they didn't want the Israelites to grow into a big nation within Egypt, because if there was too many men, they'd be able to rise up against them. And so they needed them as their slaves to build their pyramids and be their servants and all this stuff, right? So she sent him down the Nile to preserve his life, because they were killing all the babies, all the baby boys. And then again, when Jesus was born, and it happened before that too, when Jesus was born, and the king heard about the a king being born, and the wise men did not come back to tell him where he was at. He sent a decree out and killed all the children under 2 years of age, all of them. And so this stuff happens, and it's evil. It's been happening. They tried to get rid of the Bible, tear down the church, just so exactly, exactly. Uh, they tried to, the first baby boy, yep. The firstborn boy, yep. Because it cuts off the lineage. They're cutting off lineage. They're cutting off inheritance, and they're weakening the society. They want to weaken society so that nobody rises up against them. How many female armies have you seen? Because God didn't make the woman to go to battle. He didn't. He created man with strength. He didn't create woman with strength. And I'm not getting into the whole equal rights junk, because there's a line for it. We all have value, but we were not created equal. In that sense, we were not created. God made man to have strength and to go to war and to have that mental ability to separate war from life. We women, we don't got that. We don't got that. You say you got it, you don't got it. Why you think a lot of people struggle with the depression on that when they're in those places is because you really weren't equipped. You weren't created with those abilities. And you're going against nature of how we were made. I'm all using my hands like so yeah. So but yes, it's crazy stuff. And people are oblivious to it because it's like this. Live and let live. That's how they look at it. Live and let live, and they don't pay attention to out here. Everyone should be aware of what's going on out here because so many people do this nowadays. There's a lot of bad things going on out here that's gone for so long that it's really big now. And the blanket is being pulled back. And there's a lot of people that don't want you to pull the blanket. No, put that blanket back. Like they'll acknowledge that it's bad, but just put the blanket back over it. We don't want to deal with it. Just as long as it's not in my house, we're okay. No, it's not. It's going to be rampant. This is ushering in the days of Noah that the Bible talks about in the last days. It's ushering it in. It's ushering it in. Not all of them are like that. There are good people. There are good people. Oh God. Yes, they just don't advertise or speak about it. Yes, because they can't. Yes. Yes. It's like any society. Any society. There's people here in our states. There's some really evil people here. Really evil people here. And we're kind of like it's flipped. It's kind of flipped here, right? We hide our evil. The states, we hide our evil. We pretend it's not there. That's what we do here. We put the blanket over it. And over there, they put the blanket over the good stuff. And they hide the good stuff versus the opposite. Yeah, it's crazy stuff, guys. Not every country is here. And that's what is so disturbing about people staying quiet and like just walking around like this is because it's gonna get here. It's gonna get here. And some people are gonna be like, oh, I never thought it would happen here. Why? Why did you never think it was gonna happen here? It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And the more you go like this, the more your freedoms get smashed and taken away. Smashed and taken away. And everybody just like, okay. They're sitting, okay, take my freedom. I'm like, no, you're not touching my freedom. You are not touching my freedom. You know why? Because God gave it to me. You are not touching it. Not touching it. We fear them and they fear us. They don't understand why we are free to do what we want and don't understand why they can't. Because they just, okay. Here. Don't get me started. I know this is not the time or place for it. But the more people just look away, the more people looks away, the more power you give them to do all those wrong things. Me, I'd be like, let's go get them. They need to be taken out of that house. Take them out of the house. Just saying. Take them out of the house. I feel my heart beating. I want to get up on my soapbox. This is not the place for my soapbox. Those are private conversations, right? Otherwise, I feel like I'm ranting. And it's not really a rant. But I don't want it to come off as a rant. Good morning, Athena on Facebook side. Constance says, good morning, Athena. Yes. Yes, get me back to the other side. Get me back to the other side. Get me back to the calm side. Get me back to the calm side. So has anybody been able to share with somebody new? Has anybody been able to share with somebody new? Athena says, good morning, Constance. Good morning, good morning. Yeah. Good morning, good morning. I know my husband at church, when they go on missions trips, he always tries to help buy Bibles in that translation. I think that's awesome that they make it in different languages. And then we know another person, they go to, Tanzania? Is it Tanzania? I think they go to, or places like that. And they go give the audio Bible. So what they do is instead of taking the Bible to them, because they have the radio towers over there, they take on these little It kind of looks like an old-fashioned radio, but it has the Bible on it. And then it has a receiver on it in it to where when they put up these radio towers, they're able to get radio stations on that little thing as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was a neat thing that they go and do. Have shared with someone new. You got to share with someone new? How exciting. How exciting. How exciting. Yeah, it's always awesome to be able to share. Sometimes people look at you a little weird, and then other times you have a really good conversation and you meet new people. That is really cool too. I haven't been out and about, well, a little bit when I was out shopping, I guess, like resourcing. Got to meet a few people. Went to the one store that I went into, one of the thrift stores that I found me a little treasure place. I found me a little gold mine, I think. And when I went in there, it was quiet because we were kind of early in the morning time when we got there. And then probably about 5 minutes of being there, they put the radio on. And it was a Christian station. And they didn't turn it down either. It was up good volume. And so the whole time I'm shopping, it's just like joyful, because you get to hear your worship songs and you're shopping and you can sing while you're shopping. Yeah, I loved it. So I know Hobby Lobby used to do it a little bit. They don't do words. I don't think I've ever heard words at Hobby Lobby. Just the, what do you call it, instrumental. But if you know the song, then you know the words. So you know what kind of song you were hearing. But no, I like it when people just play it. A few of the yard sales we stopped at too, they had the Air One, and another one had, I think, K-Love playing. So that was cool. We love it. We love it. We love it. I love when I find people that are like-minded, because it's just, they're cheerful. They're cheerful. But yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, I don't have a whole lot to talk about because I'll get up on my soapbox. And I don't want to go there. I just don't want to go there. I don't mind talking, but I don't want to go to my soapbox. I don't want to go there. You see? Red pill, blue pill. I don't want to go there. Yeah. I even wore my shirt that day. It was funny. I have a shirt that has the two hands with the red pill and the blue pill. And I wore it that day. And you get the looks for sure. Not one person asked me about my shirt, which I thought was a little odd. But, I mean, it's self-explanatory. But, yeah. I smuggle. Ooh, I got to read this one. Sir. Okay. I smuggled some Bibles into a country, thanks to a born-again friend there. Had them printed here in their language that a company helped me with. Oh my gosh. That is like the coolest thing ever. That is like the coolest thing ever. Please don't what? Please don't get on my soapbox. I'm not. That is the coolest thing ever, Arthur. I bet you have a lot of stories to share. Constance says, good morning, Prolini. Good morning. Love my devotion books I got from you. Aw, I hope you love it. Right, Joe? Right? That is like the coolest thing. Coolest thing ever. So has anybody else been to other countries? So I know now, Arthur, you have been. I know Athena has been. I've only been to Mexico. That's the extent of my foreign travels. And for me, that was not a good trip for me. I did not have a good trip on that. Good morning, Promini. Good morning. And your beautiful emojis. All of the pretty flowers. Yeah, so I've only been to Mexico. No, I've been to Canada when I was really young. I've been to Canada once. I think we'd like to do that one again, but it'd be cool. But has anybody traveled outside of this country and, experienced different culture and what their I would say do's and don'ts are, or permissions, that kind of thing. I do know that there is a heavy oppression in the Netherlands. It's a creepy one, actually. If you do your research and stuff, and you find there's a lot of stuff that's really hidden. It's really creepy. It's hidden from, how would you say? It's not hidden in a sense that they hide it. It's not publicized. I think that's the word that I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. Prolini says, "Good morning, Arthur. Good morning, good morning. Oh, yeah, so lucky. I always wanted to go everywhere. Say no, it's not good. Everyone says no, it's not good. I know, right? I've heard stories too. I'll be like, oh, that's supposed to be real beautiful there. They're like, yeah, don't go. I was like, okay, I won't go. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of stuff if you start looking around. I've had people tell me, I don't want to know. I don't want to know because I can't do anything about it anyway. So I don't even want to know. But that's why it's the way that it is. Here's a good one. Some countries laugh at Americans for having cats and dogs as pets instead of food. Oh yeah. I remember, so here's one. I remember when I first met my husband. He was so young. I had already had a lot of life under my belt because I was already married and divorced once, married and widowed once, and then I met my husband that I have now, right? And I remember when I met him, um, I mean, he was younger than me, and I was still young, but I wasn't exposed to things, okay? And so okay, boys, they see a lot of stuff anyway. Boys are just boys, right? They're more out there than girls. But so he had showed me this show one time, and on this show, it showed the people eating a monkey, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I was so wigged out by it. Yeah, and then he had said that there was ones about the cats and dogs too, where that's what they do, certain cultures, that they're considered food. And I was just like, we're not supposed to be eating those things. There's certain things we're not supposed to eat, and all three of those things are not supposed to be eaten. We're told not to eat those things, and we're not told not to eat those things because uh, the Lord wants to deprive us of good things. We're not supposed to eat those things because they cause disease and they weren't created to be eaten. And it would just creep me out. I was creeped out by that. And that's like a normal thing in some of those countries. Like, I'm it was gross. It was gross. I was just like creeped out. I was like, I don't ever want to see anything like that ever again. Ever. Ever. But yeah. Yeah. That is the craziest thing ever. Yeah, I know that here we joke about when you go to certain restaurants that is it chicken or is it cat? I know. That was a big joke for a long time. Yeah, because of the culture. Pretty crazy stuff. Yvette says gross, right? Yeah, gross. Athena says, I actually had a really good time in China. Yeah, probably more than likely, and especially if you were with good people, a good family, um, that was there to like help you, then you probably would have had a better time. It was kind of like that for me in Mexico. Portion of the visit was good when I was with the family, but when we went out into the town, the city, not such a great time. Yeah. If you're looking around and you're looking like you're taking in what you're seeing, there's a lot that you see. There's a lot that you see. I seen just numerous things that was just like wow. Like wow. I mean, and we have our stuff here like we have Skid Row right here in California. We have Skid Row and it's not a good thing at all. It's not a good thing. If you go down there just driving, I would never walk down there. If you just drive through there and you're only driving on one street, you're not all the way in all the other little offshoots. It's not good. It's not good. Then the things you see, it's not good. Yes. Yes. That's the frog in the pot. Yes, Joe. The frog in the pot. You put the frog in the pot and you turn the burner on. And the frog doesn't even know it's getting cooked. And by the time it's too late, frog's already cooked. And that's why we don't eat out. Right, Marianne? Right? Make it at home. You know what's in it. Right? My Aunt Janet says, I went to Okinawa. Oh, I know what you're saying. I went to Okinawa, Japan, when I was 19. I remember that. When I, with my sister, when she had her first baby, was supposed to stay a month, but only stayed 2 weeks. Just too weird. Yep, I remember. I remember when they were there. I do remember that. I was little. Prolini says, good morning, Aunt Janet. Right. You know what's in it. Yes. They're like, hey, what is this? It's chicken. It really is chicken. Yeah, my Aunt Janet says, good morning. Good morning. Yes. Yeah, pretty crazy. Yes. Yes. Do your research. That is a true statement. That is a true statement. There's a lot of disturbing things when you find out some stuff. A lot of disturbing things. But yeah. And it's been here for a while. It's been here for a long while. And it all stemmed from the devil trying to destroy God's creation, what God loves. Because God loves man. He loves man. That was like the crown of his creation. Even the angels wonder about man. Even the angels wonder about man. Because God loves them so much. You know, the angels didn't need salvation. The angels didn't get salvation when the angels fell and they were thrown out of heaven. Jesus didn't save the angels. He only came to save man. Does that blow your mind? I mean, does that blow your mind? The angels were created to do God's work and to stand as witnesses of his work. But man was created for companion fellowship with God. And that got broken because of the devil. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Yep, this is his kingdom. For a time frame, this is his kingdom. They have small sections in stores called clean meat. What the heck is that? What's clean meat? Are you talking about organic, grass-fed, or something else? I've never heard of a section called clean meat. I'm staying inside now. Don't know who wants to take a bite of your leg. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's not like zombie stuff, but, you know, plant-based meat. Oh, yeah. If you like that stuff, go on and get it. This girl's gonna eat a cow any chance she can get. No people. She says no people. Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. What did you put there, Aunt Janet? No people? Does it mean it's people or Wait a minute. Right? Right? Yes. We're told what meats not to eat. We're told what meats not to eat. But man in his perversion of it stems from pagans. It stems from the pagans and the cultures, when the Lord told them to go in and kill all of the people. Don't spare any. You take them all out. The animals too. Kill them all. It was because they were perverted. It was because they were perverting themselves. They were perverting the animals. They were perverting themselves with the animals, with all kinds of weird stuff, right? So the Lord said, and people can't understand why the Lord said to wipe out both man, woman, children. The reason why is because all of those societies were corrupted from the top down. Okay. And if you left them alive, what would happen is now they're going to teach the other people, that the Israelites, they're going to teach them to do bad things. Look what happened every time they left some alive. Look what happened every time they tried to live with those people. They left serving God and they started doing idol worship. They started doing the same kind of practices that they were doing. Look at Eli's two sons. They were like doing the prostitution right there at the temple. They were doing bad things and offering up sacrifices to other gods. They started doing all kinds of weird stuff. And so that's why when the Lord would send them in and say, you are to kill them all the men, all the women, all the children. And to us, that kind of seems very harsh. Like, how could they do that? And it was because if you don't wipe the society out, it will come back in. Okay, I thought I understood you right. And it's called clean meat. Girl, I need to go look in the store because that just blew my mind. That just blew my mind. It doesn't surprise me because of the stuff that I know. It stems from the fallen wanting to defile man and get rid of the taboo. Yes. Well, what it is, okay, so you do know that the devil's only desire is to steal, kill, rob, and destroy, right? Okay, but at the same time, he cannot kill you. He doesn't have permit. Even what he does is permissible. It has to go through God's hand. Okay, he's not just, in a sense, running amok. Okay, but he does have permission to do certain things up to a point. Just like with Job, he got given permission by God to buffet Job up to his life. That's it. He couldn't take Job's life. He couldn't kill Job. Same thing like with us. There's certain things that the Lord will permit to happen in our lives, either by our choice or consequence, or some of it comes from testing. Some of it comes because the Lord knows that you're going to trust him and he will walk you through it. Okay? And usually it's to shut the devil's mouth. Anyway, and you only know that if you read the book of Job. I will say that. You really only understand that if you read the book of Job and you get a good understanding of what Job went through and where it came from. Okay? But in that, all the stuff that happens here, it's because the devil can't kill you, right? But he can get you to destroy yourself by any means necessary. If he can get man to pervert creation, he'll get man to pervert creation. Crossing animals, crossing humans with animals, getting man to destroy other men, taking down, just genocide, anything that any means necessary. He'll use it. And it's because he just wants to destroy man, just because God loves man, because that hate is in there and that's where it comes from. That's where it comes from. So yes, that is exactly, yep. Some of it's called fresh meat. Just, Ooh, preachers tend to tell the whole story of the 10 Commandments because God had Moses and those who repented go kill and rest who didn't. Okay, one more time. I got to reread that for my brains. Hold on a second. Right. Yeah. There was times where he did give them opportunity. There was some that came out of Egypt that were Egyptians that came out of Egypt. And they were also given opportunity to basically live by God's laws. Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 And there was a few in some of those instances where they were saved. Rahab the harlot, she was saved in that whole heathen society that they were sent in to kill in Jericho. Yeah. So her and her family were saved because they believed in the Lord. Mm-hmm. Yep. Look at Lot and his wife and his daughters. And Abraham was talking to God up there on the hill about, will you spare them if there's just like 50 good men? He says, I will spare them if there's 50. He got all the way down to 10. Will you spare them if there's just 10? He goes, I'll spare them if there's just 10. There wasn't. He honored Abraham by getting Lot out. And look what happened with Lot's wife. She longed for that lifestyle. Longed for it. Weird, right? The whole city was nasty. Like nasty. So nasty that when they saw the angels come into Lot's house, they wanted to rape them. And Lot, in his demented mind, wanted to tell them, don't touch these men. Take my daughters. Who does that? That's how bad it was where Lot was at, and even Lot's own thinking. Mm-hmm. Your mama says good morning. Good morning, Athena. I'll put that right here because she's on the other side. I'll put that so you can see it, Athena. But yeah, so yeah, it's craziness. It's craziness. It's bad. And God destroyed that whole city. That whole city. The perversion was so bad there. He destroyed the whole entire thing. And then what happened with them? They had to go live in the cave. Lot and his two daughters had to go live in a cave, right? And the daughters, because of how they grew up in the town that they grew up in, they had twisted mentality. And what did they do? They got their father drunk and they slept with their father so they could have babies. Instead of going to a town, traveling to a town and finding another population to live with, no, they went and lived in a cave, got their father drunk, and then had sex with their father so they could have babies. Am I allowed to say that word? I never thought about that. My bad. But yeah, and it's all in there. It's all in that Bible. I'm not making none of it up. I suggest you read it if you haven't. It's awesome. I still feel like I'm on a soapbox. Do I sound like I'm on a soapbox? I still feel like I'm on a soapbox. So anyways, I am going to look into that, Aunt Janet. It doesn't surprise me, but it's hard to swallow as a human that doesn't think that way. Yeah. My husband is listening to you and he said, yeah, it's in the Bible. Yep. It's all in there. It's all in there. And the Lord also said there's nothing new under the sun. So the things, the rotten things that whether you know about them or not, that are going on, they're not new. They are not new. Lot, the book of Lot, or the story of Lot, is in Genesis. I will find it for you. It's in Genesis. You get a lot of history in Genesis. Okay. All right, open right to it. Is that like not even heard of? Okay, here we go. That was talking about Lot being taken captive. Okay. Almost the okay, hold on. Okay. Genesis. Okay, so he's interceding right here. Son of promise, please let the water be. Okay. So it starts in, if you want to read it in context, start from chapter 18. Okay, start chapter 18 and you'll see where the Lord appeared to Abraham. Okay, that's where he came, and there was him and then two others with him, which were the angels that went into Sodom and Gomorrah. So then it's in verse 16 is where it really starts to go there, right? Do you want me to read it? Do you want me to read it? So verse 16 starts it, and it ends in the whole chapter of 19. So for me, I would send you to chapter 18 and 19. Yes, read it with all my flubbers. Okay, so I'm going to start in, I might as well start the whole thing in case you've never heard it before. We're going to start with chapter 18. Okay, I'll read 18 and 19 so you have the whole context. It says, Then the Lord appeared to him by the tabernacle trees in Mamre. I don't know how to say the name. It's a place. As he was sitting in the tent door in the heat of the day, so he lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, 3 men were standing by him. And this is Abraham, okay? And when he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them, and bowed himself to the ground, and said, My Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, do not pass by on your servant. Please let a little water be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will bring a morsel of bread, that you may refresh your hearts. After that you may pass by, insomuch as you have come to your servant. They said, Do as you have said. So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah and said, Quickly, make ready 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes. And Abraham ran to the herd, took a tender and good calf, gave it to a young man, and he hastened to prepare it. So he took butter and milk and the calf which he had prepared, and set it before them, and he stood by them under the tree as they ate. Then he said to them, Where is Sarah your wife? Then he said to him, Where is Sarah your wife? So he said, Here in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return to you according to the time of life, and behold, Sarah your wife shall have a son. So what that's saying right there is, I will certainly return to you according to the time of life. He's going to make them fertile. They're old, okay? They're like in their 90s or something. And behold, Sarah your wife shall have a son. Sarah was listening in the tent door which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, well advanced in age, and Sarah had passed the age of childbearing. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I have grown old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? Which she's referring to her husband. And the Lord said to Abraham, Why did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I surely bear a child, since I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. But Sarah denied it, saying, I did not laugh, for she was afraid. And he said, No, but you did laugh. Then the men rose from there and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to send them on the way. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham what I am doing? Since Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I have known him in order that he may command his children and his household after him, that they keep the way of the Lord, to do righteousness and justice, that the Lord may bring to Abraham what he has spoken to him. And the Lord said, because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grave, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry against it that has come to me. And if not, I will know. Then the men turned away from there and went toward Sodom. But Abraham stood before the Lord. And Abraham came near and said, would you also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 righteous within the city. Would you also destroy the place and not spare it for the 50 righteous that were there? Far be it for you to do such a thing as this, to slay the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous should be as the wicked. Far be it from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? So he's questioning God right there. So the Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. Then Abraham answered and said, indeed now, I who am but dust and ashes, have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose there were 5 less than 50 righteous. Would you destroy all of the city for lack of 5? So he said, if I find 45, I will not destroy it. And he spoke to him yet again and said, suppose there should be 40 found there. So he said, I will do it for the sake of 40. I will not do it for the sake of 40. Then he said, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Suppose 30 should be found there. So he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, indeed now I have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose 20 should be found there. So he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 20. Then he said, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak but once more. Suppose 10 should be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 10. So the Lord went his way as soon as he had finished speaking with Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place. Now the 2 angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. If you're not familiar with this, when the men sat in the gate, they had a place of almost like government. Okay, so the people that were like kind of like the overseers of the city, they would sit in the gate. That was kind of like where the governors and things like that would sit. Okay, they weren't governors then, but that's where they would sit. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them, and when he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, here now, my lords, please turn into your servant's house and spend the night and wash your feet. Then you may rise early and go your way. And they said, no, but we will spend the night in the open square. But he insisted strongly. So they turned in to him and entered his house. Then he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Now before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both old and young, all the people from every quarter surrounded the house. And they called to Lot and said to him, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us that we may know them carnally. So Lot went out to them through the doorway, shut the door behind him, and said, please, my brethren, do not do so wickedly. See now, I have 2 daughters who have not known a man. They were virgins. Please let me bring them out to you, and you may do to them as you wish. Who does that? Who does that? Only do nothing to these men, since this is the reason they have come under the shadow of my roof. And they said, stand back. Then they said, this one came in to stay here, and he keeps acting as a judge now. Now we will deal worse with you than with them. Okay, so now they're mad at Lot. Lot came into their town, and now they're mad because now They think Lot's judging them for the way that they live. But the men reached out their hands and pulled Lot into the men that were in the house. The men reached out their hands and pulled Lot into the house with them and shut the door. And they struck the men who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they became weary trying to find the door. Then the men said to Lot, "Have you anyone else here, son-in-law, your sons, your daughters, and whomever you have in the city? Take them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the outcry against them has grown before the face of the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it." So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who had married his daughters, and said, "Get up, get out of this place, for the Lord will destroy the city." But to his son-in-laws, they seemed to be joking. He seemed to be joking. When the morning dawned, the angels urged Lot to hurry, saying, "Arise, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of the city." And while he lingered, the men took hold of his hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. So it came to pass, when they had brought them outside, that he said, "Escape for your life, do not look behind you, nor stay anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountains, lest you be destroyed." Then Lot said to them, "Please, no, my lords. Indeed, now your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have increased your mercy, which you will have shown me by saving my life. But I cannot escape to the mountains, lest some evil overtake me and I die. So now the city is near enough to flee. See now, this city is near enough to flee, and it is a little one. Please let me escape there. It is not a little one. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live?" And he said to him, "See, I have favored you concerning this thing also, in that I will not overthrow this city for which you have spoken. Hurry, escape there, for I cannot do anything until you arrive there." Therefore, the name of this city was called Zoar. The sun had risen upon the earth when Lot entered Zoar. Then the Lord rained brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. So he overthrew those cities, all the plain, all the inhabitants of the city, and what grew on the ground. But his wife looked back behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord. Then when he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and he saw and behold the smoke of the land which rose up like smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot had dwelt. Then Lot went up out of Zoar. This is where Lot leaves the little city that he asked to go to. He leaves that little city, leaves Zoar, and dwelt in the mountains, and his 2 daughters were with him, for he was afraid to dwell in Zoar. And he and his 2 daughters dwelt in a cave. Now the firstborn said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is no man on the earth to come into us, as is the custom of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve the lineage of our father." So they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and laid with her father, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. It happened on the next day that the firstborn said to the younger, "Indeed, I lay with my father last night. Let us make him drink wine tonight also, and you go in and lay with him, that we may preserve the lineage of our father." Then they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. Thus both the daughters of Lot were with child by their father. The first bore a son, and called his name Moab, the Moabites. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. And the younger, she bore a son, and they called his name Ben-Ammi, and he is the father of the people of Ammon to this day. Those were the Ammonites. And when Moses came out of Egypt, they were to destroy those nations because of the perversion that came. So yeah, that was it. Yes, Isaac's name means laughter. Yes, because Sarah laughed. So there you go. So we actually did have some Bible reading, which is awesome, right? So there you go. There's some history for you. And the light shining on that paper makes my eyes wonky. You're very welcome, Marianne. You're very welcome. I'm gonna need another cup of coffee. Right? Yeah, we always need to hear it. We need to hear it more than once because sometimes things step out at you the second, third, or fourth time that you read it. I remember something that really stuck out to me about Abraham. It says, and I think it's farther. Like if you keep reading in Genesis, I think it's farther in there. But the Lord put a deep sleep on Abraham and like basically gave him a dream or a vision, and let him know that they were going to be taken into captivity for I could be wrong. It was like 300 or 500 years, and that like he was going to be the father of a great nation, and that great nation was going to be taken into captivity, and then he would send a deliverer. And so he was prophesying about Moses. He was prophesying about Moses. And so it didn't occur until they didn't get taken into captivity until after Joseph. After Joseph. And that's how the Israelites ended up in Egypt, is because there was a famine in the land, and where God had placed Joseph, they were able to come to Egypt under Joseph and prosper. And then after Joseph died, the pharaohs after that did not recognize Joseph, and they all started putting the Israelites into slavery. Hopefully I took care of all of my monies this weekend. I think so. If you're talking about me, yeah, girl. You're talking about me? You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. I appreciate you too, by the way. That's awesome. I hope it was for grandbaby prizes. Yeah. So yeah. So it's pretty crazy. I had read through before, but this I would probably say second or third time that I had read through that. Each time I try to take a little bit more time and read like a verse and see if there's anything new in the verse. Then I'll work my way down to see if there was anything. What? You didn't send me any. Oh, monies. Okay, monies. Yes. So and that was the time that it was probably my second or third time. I think it was when I got my new Bible, and I went back through again in my new Bible to read again. And that jumped out at me, that the Lord prophesied to Abraham that the nation of Israel would be in bondage until he sent the deliverer, and the deliverer was Moses. Yeah. I have messaged in my email. Yeah, you know what? It happens to me, girl. You got to reread it over to. Yes, sometimes, yes, you have to. This light's giving me a migraine. I can feel it coming on. Let me get rid of that. See if it eases up a little bit. Weird. Because I can see the words on the screen are going away. Okay, see if it'll clear up a little bit. I sometimes don't get notified. I have a message in my email. Yeah, I don't always get notifications that they're in there. And when I start doing my invoicing, all of my regular mail gets buried. So if I've missed anything from you guys and not responded to you, I apologize. Every once in a while, it'll happen. It'll happen. If I don't scroll down far enough, all of the PayPal stuff just like, yeah, I'm having a hard time reading. Hold on a second, guys. I'm gonna put it up here, see if, nope, can't see it there better. I sometimes don't get notified. I already read that one. I had a headache over the weekend. I don't have any pain. I panic. You don't have to panic, girl. You don't need to panic. You don't need to panic. Don't panic. Just so y'all know, because I know all y'all, you guys are, everybody in here is good. I have to be stern when new people come on because a lot of times new people try to test the waters, I guess you could say, and they'll see how far they can go with certain behaviors. And for me, I'm like, nah, we need to cut that off right away. I don't like having to get frustrated or, oh shoot, I panic. Yes. Aw, look at that. Arthur says, Perlini, your friendship is payment enough even if we've never personally met. Right? I agree. I agree. I agree. I love all of you guys. I enjoy all of you guys on any live that you come on. It makes my heart happy to just recognize a name. I think it's awesome. And the buying thing, please don't ever buy from me because you think I have to have your sales. Please don't ever do that. If you get something, get it because you want it, not for any other reason. And I hope everybody that comes on mine, they're like that. I hope they understand that. Please don't feel like I'm pushing something or I expect y'all to buy every time you're on or no, I don't. I hope that I find things that you like and you want them and that's why you get them. Only for that reason. Yes. Aw, right? It's awesome. Perlini has great emojis. I love her emojis. But yeah, so please don't ever think that. Please don't think that you can't come in because you can't buy today. Please don't ever think that. You know, here, there's none of that going on. You're here because you want to be here. So, Friday night, you guys worked me to death on Friday night. Okay, so I will throw this out there. I'm only going to show for most time on Friday is 3 hours. That was unexpected. I'm still waiting on I put it in your tote. It came yesterday. See it over there? It just came in yesterday. And it is in your tote, Constance. So you let me know, girl, if you're going to come on today and you're going to order today, then I will invoice you for what's in your tote. Or if you don't and you just want me to invoice your tote, I will invoice what's in there. You don't have too many things, but popcorn, you have a couple items in there. Hot chips, I think. Yes. So it is here. It did come in yesterday. I got it all set up. Those of you that are waiting for the cotton candy, I have to double check that one to see if it's en route yet. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And somebody, I don't know who yet, but somebody is missing an item. It wasn't on your invoice because I left it over there when I was emptying the cubby to put it. Okay, so you can see that those are empty, right? So in one of those, I took the stuff out of the cubby and put one item right there because I had too much in my hands and did the invoice of everything that was in there. And when I went back, there was one item right there. And because I already pulled the name tag off, I don't remember who it was. So somebody's missing an item in their package. And if you are, you'll know what it is. You weren't invoiced for it, but you'll know what it is. You'll be like, hey, I didn't get this in my package. All you have to do is let me know and I will ship it to you for free because it was my boo-boo. It was my boo-boo. But you'll know who you are and you'll just message me. And if it's the item, then I'll send it. But there was only one item that happened with. And so you'll know. And so I apologize because I did. I took it out of one and I set it there and then I didn't go back and get it and I invoiced for everything except that one item. Yes, Constance, and a frame. Yes, you do have a frame in there. Yes. Yes, that's right. You don't know who's who. Well, kind of. Once I take the tag down, I don't remember who was where on because they're not in numerical order. That's why when Eric came in here and I was trying to have him help me, it was confusing for him because they weren't in numerical order. It's like there's numbers random all over. They're not in numerical order. But I know where they're at because I put them there. Does that make sense? Yeah, he was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I was like, it's all right. It's all right. Oh, as far as being firm, yes. I yes, exactly. So for that, what does it say? My grandkid and big kid cupboard is the best ever now, according to them. Aw, that is awesome. That is awesome. You have a special cupboard for them to go get some treats. That is awesome. Yeah, I find it's like this, and this comes from work, right? I find if you tell people what you expect of them from the beginning, they're gonna do what's required, right? Or they're not, and they'll go away. They're gonna go away. They don't like it. They're not gonna do it. They're gonna go away. So you basically throw the thing in their lap that this is how this works, and this is how it's gonna be done. And no, I'm not gonna do it your way. And so then they're either okay, and they do it that way, or they're like, I'm out of here. So it's a great way to weed out bad customers. Because there are bad customers. Not every customer is right. Not every customer is right. I do disagree with that philosophy. Definitely. I say do your best to make them happy with what they're getting, yes, but that doesn't mean that every customer is right when they open their mouth. That is bad business. I don't think they should have ever put that in there. Customer's always right because the customer is not always right. They are not. Organized chaos. Yeah, that's me. I have my own system and it works for me. And yeah, most people on their channels have to put their foot down. People take advantage. Yeah, there's some that do, and then there's some that they just complain about it and don't take steps because how would you say, they're afraid they're going to lose sales or people or someone's not going to like it or if I tell them they have to pay it, they're never going to buy again. Well, apparently they're not paying, and so they're not buying anyway. What are you losing? You're still not losing anything. So this is how this works. If you don't like it and you don't like me, you don't have to be here. You can go. I'll be all right. I will be all right. And you will be all right wherever you go. Right? That's the way I look at it. There's tons of stores out there I don't shop in because I don't like the store. I don't like what they have. I might not like their prices, whatever. So I have the option to not shop there. It's the same thing here. Yeah, same thing here. But yeah. And if you ever have a problem, you should be able to come to me and say, hey, this wasn't right, or this, that, or the other. And there's not an issue. There's not an issue. It'll get fixed. Does that make sense? I will make sure it gets fixed. But yeah, so I do not have the philosophy the customer is always right. Never have. In all my years of management, I never held that view. I will listen to the customer. I will see if what they're saying is legit. I will try to make it right and make that customer happy, but that doesn't mean they're right. Right? Right? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, I agree, Pronini. I agree. Yeah. It's kind of like that in a sense, You're not going to get your stuff till you pay the invoice. Kind of the same thing. But yeah, I don't like when people come on and maybe they're bored. I don't know. People do things for different reasons. I don't know their brains or their hearts. I don't know that. I don't say that I do. Sometimes it could be because they're bored. It's the only thing they have to do, and it's like their way of engaging. And so they'll rack up a big old list of stuff and then never to be heard from. So to me, that's not cool. And I will nip that stuff in the bud because there was somebody else that wanted it and you did it because it gave you a thrill that you got it and they didn't. But you never had intentions of buying it. I don't like that stuff. That used to happen when I first started. There was a lot of that because it was a new thing. And so people would come on there and they were excited and they're all trying to claim it faster than the next person and then they really weren't serious buyers. So that's why I started doing the whole I need your information, I'll give you a cubby. Because now I have your information. If you don't want to give me your information, you are definitely not claiming anything. Okay, what does this one say? Good morning, Dee. Good morning, good morning. Welcome and good morning. Pernini says, good morning, Denise. Hello, Pernini. That is cruel. What did I say that was cruel? Oh, when they do that? Yes. Yeah. Oh, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. That whole saying, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, that applies to a lot of certain kind of people. There's a certain type of person that truly does apply to those people. But yes, enough about work. I was never supposed to talk about work on here. Not you, the peeps. Yes, I agree. It's cruel to the other shoppers, and it's cruel to you as the business owner. Okay, because you're trying to run your business, and when you put all the effort forth to get the stuff, to present it, it's all your time, your money, your effort, and you're doing your part, and then here comes someone that just wants to like stir the pot of trouble for you. It's like you need to just get on out of here. I ain't got no problem giving someone the boot ever. You guys should know that already about me, right? I mean, I don't try to be, I told you guys, I don't like being a turd, but there is times where I will put my foot down real quick. I always pay an invoice the minute I see it. I feel I'm like you, Arthur. Very few times has my invoice gone even a day. I'm the same way. For me, it's like I know I bought something today, and I'm looking for my invoice for as soon as it comes in. I'm the same way. And I'm not saying every person has to do that. Please don't. That like, where's my invoice? I want you all to do that. I'm not saying that. I do that too. There's seasoned, not payers. There's seasoned, not payers. Good morning, Stitch It. Yeah. I'm just talking now. Now I'm just yapping. But good morning. I'm glad you're here. Me too. Yep. But I'm ready to go because I do have to get my morning going. Again, I have to finish a few more things. I need to make the thumbnails. I think I have a thumbnail up for today, for this afternoon. So I do go live this afternoon. A lot of you are East Coast, so for me it's 4, for you it's 7. So I will be live. I do have some new things. And I think I'm going to offer, so those of you that are watching from the Facebook side, I don't know if there's some of you that are still here. A lot of you might have already taken off. But if you are here and you are listening, I am going to offer some different stuff today. As far as like some of the stuff that I have back here. I think that for me, I'm going to continue with more of a buy it now style for all of the auctions that I do, because it works for me. So I hope you guys enjoy that as well. More of like a instead of always having a starting bid. There'll be some things that I put on a bid, but I think I'm going to do a lot more of the buy it now type things. Today, yes, Arthur, yes. Mondays and Wednesdays is bin numbers. Yes. And that's because both platforms are, I'm streaming both, and both are able to claim. And bin numbers is the way that we do that because it's all buy it nows. Yep. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the reading today. Please continue to give yourselves thought and submit your poems if you're willing. If not, it's okay. You don't have to. It's just keep it in thought. And if you feel like you want to share something, your thoughts or sentiments or I don't know, something, it can be funny. It doesn't have to be a serious poem. But if you decide you want to do it, send it to thebootychick@gmail.com. You have until March the 22nd to do so. And again, that will be for one person will end up getting the Jesus Freaks, the Book of the Martyrs, that I have been reading to you guys out of. And hopefully you'll get to enjoy that. We'll be using, okay. And don't forget to share scripture with somebody. Don't forget to pray for the important people in your life, especially the hard people. Just, Lord, you know what to do with them. I don't. Help me just be nice. I mean, it could be, your prayers don't have to be long, drawn out stories. The Lord already knows what's in your heart. And don't forget that that's what the Holy Spirit does, is he translates your prayers for you. So that's his job. That's what he does. That's what his help is for. So, the Lord knows this, that, and the other about that person and what your guys' circumstances are. So it's just, Lord, you know what to do with them. I don't. Help me be nice to them whenever they're around or whenever they call and I got to talk to them. Just give me the kind words to say and leave it at that and let the Lord do his work. So pray for the hard people in your life because they need it. They need it. We were once those hard people, so we know. But anyhow, share scripture with somebody. Hopefully it's somebody new in your life. If not, share one with somebody that's always in your life. Maybe they just need a little encouragement today. And I hope you can come back tomorrow. Again, 7 a.m., same time, same place. Coffee, devotions, first things first before you start your day, or even that mid-morning time frame. So thank you guys for being here and putting up with my ramblings as well. You guys have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow. And hopefully I'll have an exit song to play. I'm working on it. I'll have an exit because exiting is always awkward for me. So have a good day, guys.